We're matching. Nobody needs to talk about it. It was on accident. Why are we both matching? Hi, everyone. I'm Allison.
I'm Leanne.
And if you don't know us, we're Hey Babe. I made that up.
That's not true. We're Leanne and Allison. We're a married couple. We have two kids and a dog.
And we live in Michigan.
It's true.
Anyway, it's June 1st. Happy Pride, and we want to share a story with you.
Today we are talking about something that we get asked a lot, which is what happens when you have family or extended family who don't accept you. And that is a very complicated topic.
And it's one that we actually haven't really run into in quite some time. Mm-hmm. I ran into this many moons ago in like the early 2000s when I first came out. But since then, we've kind of moved into what we thought was a really wonderful, supportive community of people who loved us and our children, supported our marriage wholeheartedly. And I feel like so often people are like, oh, well, I just love you. I'm like, no, that's not enough. Supporting someone's marriage is
loving them unconditionally, lifting them up.
And also voting
in their best interest.
Not against things that you know are going to cause harm to these people that you care about. Yeah. And when we find out that you are voting against us, we can't in good conscience allow you around our children.
Well, we've spent, especially since we've had kids, we've worked really hard to make sure that the people in our network and that we have surrounded ourselves with are those people who will protect us, go to bat for us, and our kids.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important to us and important for the safety of our kids. I think that a lot of people forget that Allison and I still have to make judgment calls every single day. We come out every single time we introduce ourselves to the parents of our kids' friends, every time we show up at a school event, every time we go grocery shopping and we're holding hands. I mean, we make judgment calls all the time about, do I feel safe? Am I okay to talk about my wife? That's not fake. That's something that that whether we think about it or not anymore, that's a part of who we are. And I think that so in scenarios where you feel like you're at somewhere where you're supposed to be comfortable and you're supposed to be surrounded by family and people who love you, it kind of especially rocks your world to find out that there are people who aren't supportive of you.
I know. And we even I vet to the point of if a parent reaches out and they're like, oh, we want to do a play date, I will Google them. Mm-hmm. I will find them. I will look for their political views because I need to make sure, first off, that my oldest, who is non-binary, is safe in that environment and that they are going to be respected in that environment. And I need to see who my kids are going to be around.
Yeah.
And even more so than that is when I see friends, for example, who go to a new church. Mm-hmm. I will check out the church. I will listen to the sermons. I will see what they are preaching and decide whether or not.
Yeah, we want to see what kind of views you espouse. If you're sending your kids to a school or you're going to a church and I've been to these churches where they talk about how homosexuality is a sin, it's not something that we want our family around because that's not what we believe. And to be clear, people are allowed to have their own beliefs. Yep. If you want to have sincerely held religious beliefs, that is fine. We're not here to tell you that you're wrong. We are here to say what we are planning to do with our lives, our time, our energy, and our family.
Yeah. And we are always vetting the relationships because no relationship is going to remain indefinitely if...
Well, nothing is worth the safety of our family.
Ever. And we do not care if...
No matter how close a person has been in your life, no matter how long they have been around, no matter what memories you have shared or experiences you have had with those people, nothing is worth putting your own self at risk. And you should not have to just deal with hatred and bigotry because of the people that you grew up with.
No.
You shouldn't be subjected to that.
So let's get into this story. This is our most recent experience with homophobia specifically.
We were invited to a big family event in the fall, and we went and had
And this was pre-election.
Pre-election. We went. We had a really enjoyable time. I spent the night, getting caught up with family who I hadn't seen in a long time. This is extended family. And we spent the night talking to
one particular family member
and their spouse and had a really good time. We enjoyed catching up with them. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Talked about the kids, what they're into, what their kids were up to. Because
Buying
our
and
kids are
selling
all
houses.
our kids are in the same age range, and
we brought our kids.
Yeah.
It was a kid-friendly event, and we brought our kids, and I asked them why they didn't take their kids, and the response that I got was because it was a Friday night. Friday nights after school are really hectic. We understand that completely, and their kids had activities the next day, so they wanted them to get a good night's sleep. Valid reason. You asked them separately.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, we just really wanted a date night. Like we just wanted, we didn't want to bring the kids because it's such a hassle." Totally valid reason, but two different reasons.
And what was
There was a third one that was told to another family member, but I cannot remember. So there were three different reasons.
That they had given to people as to why they didn't choose to bring their kids. Again, they're free to not bring their kids.
They don't have to bring their kids.
We live in a world where people are honest with each other.
Yeah.
So after the event, at the event, we had a great time. We hugged goodbye. When we were leaving, we said we should get the kids together, and they responded, that
sounds like a great idea. We can go to a park or whatever.
So we left the event thinking that we had a really nice time reconnecting with them, and
everything was great.
I found out a little while later that
a few weeks later,
that after the event, some other people in my family had been talking, and it came out that that particular family member was not allowing their children to be around me and Allison because we are gay. And their view...
I believe their exact words were, "We were sinners."
Their views are that marriage is between a man and a woman, and they weren't comfortable with their kids being around us.
And I have to say
because
this.
Of that.
These are people that we went to their wedding. We went to their child's first birthday.
We have met their kids, and their kids have played with our kids in the past.
And
so this is new information that we learned.
Brand new information.
That nobody had ever told us to our faces. And that when we specifically asked about why they didn't bring their children, were given other reasons, not that
we were lied to. We were lied to.
And I think that's one of the things that's really hard for me, because I'm not a judgmental person. I'm a lawyer. It's my job to see other people's viewpoints and analyze them and take them into consideration. And I think I do a really good job of that. And I feel like I am a person who is willing to hear people's beliefs. And the fact that they didn't even have the decency to be honest and say, this is a really hard topic for us to discuss, but we don't want our kids to be around you. I mean, they could have chosen to be honest.
Yeah.
But instead we found out after the fact.
From somebody else. And to this day, this family member has not even so much as sent a text message, an email, a phone call, which is, they played the victim in this entire situation. They said they felt like they were ambushed, and I don't know how they were ambushed. Nobody confronted them. Nobody's even spoken to them about it, and they have not spoken to us either. And I feel like if you are going to have such strong-held beliefs, you should say it. You should say it full chest to my face. Mm-hmm. Like, if that's truly how you believe,
right,
and you
own it,
own your viewpoint.
Yeah, we get disagreed with all the time, and we're still here saying, this is what I believe. And I think that, like, some of you may be saying, well, this is hearsay, they didn't say it, and blah, blah, blah.
We already know they did.
A lot of other conversations have transpired, mm-hmm. and we know that they were told that we are now aware of their viewpoints, mm-hmm. and they never reached out to say anything. And the fact that these people, like, I think the challenging thing for me is, like, their position is that they don't want their kids to be raised around us because we're sinners. But I can't in good conscience ever let my children be around them, because they're the type of people that are willing to just cut out swaths of people. Like, that these are people who I've known my whole life, who know me and know that I'm a good person. And, like, it's them that we are not safe around. Their
views are hateful.
They're the ones that we're
Their
not
views
safe
are
around.
The one that are getting people are dying because of this viewpoint. And to bury your head in the sand and pretend like you are so self-righteous and that what you are doing is good for humanity is ridiculous. And, like, truthfully, we just found out, when I think about this, they cut us off because of their hateful viewpoint, and we have now cut them out because of their character. We're like, oh, you're actually just not a good person. And I hate to say that about somebody, and maybe this will change. Maybe something will change, but you would have to have a lot more self-awareness and self-reflection to even get to that point.
I think for me personally, other people in my family have asked how it makes me feel, because this is somebody that I was close to growing up. And, I think my feeling now is that as much as it sucks to learn things about people that you thought loved and cared for you, my time and who I am as a person, I don't need those people around. I have people in my life who love and care for me and who want to be around us and who want to support our children and who want to love us unconditionally, that the loss is theirs.
We know that at this family event that we went to, we knew that they had a great time with us because we're not like the people that they surround themselves with. We're loving and kind, and we don't judge people, and we're not
open-minded.
We're open-minded, and we're not fake, and we also don't
accepting and tolerant and loving. And there's, based on what we know, that is not who they surround themselves with. And honestly, the more I know now, the less I would ever want my children around them, because I realize that my children would have to hide who
they are, censor themselves. And what an awful way to live.
We care so deeply about authenticity.
Our kids' mental health.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, just having to live an inauthentic life, a life where you have to fit in such a specific box and be such a specific way. There's no room for different. There's no room for being who you are, and every single person is born different.
I'm not mourning the loss anymore because I'm worth more than that. Yeah. And but I do think and this is one of the reasons why it's complicated. Other people in my family will continue to have relationships with these people and these people's immediate family. And I think that one of the really hard things for me is that the other people in their family know what's going on and aren't necessarily willing to challenge them or to take a stand. And, I'm not asking people to pick sides, but it does hurt to hear that we're loved and we're accepted and we're cared for when other people will just sit by and watch.
Because it doesn't affect them.
Imagine for a second that somebody tells you that because of who you are, you're a monster and they can't let their kids be around you. Because of the person that you love, and the person that you chose to stand up in front of all your family and friends and commit to them for life. And just by virtue of me doing that with somebody who's the same gender as me has somehow turned me into this fearful person who is such a sinner that I shouldn't be around children. It's such a slap in the face that it's like
it's so dehumanizing.
It's dehumanizing. And I think especially like we should be teaching each other the things that I teach my children are love and acceptance and understanding, recognizing that people's differences are what make them special. If God wanted everybody to be the same, he wouldn't have made everybody so different. That's a line from one of my favorite movies, Saved. And I just think it's so true that like we should be teaching our children how to love and accept other people instead of teaching our children that we should just hide these people. Because here's the other thing. Their kids are our kids' ages. They live in a metropolitan city. You're not going to be able to avoid LGBTQ individuals for your whole life.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We have been everywhere. We have been existing in spaces since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. You can cut me and Allison out. Guess what? You're still going to run into us on the internet. Yeah. But you can't cut out every queer person from the city that you live in or the schools that your children attend or the places that you frequent. It's just impossible. So if anything, you're teaching your children to be scared of those who they don't know, to be scared of people that are unlike you. And what happens when those kids grow up and have feelings for people of the same sex or have friends that have feelings for people of the same sex? Now they're living in a family where that's unacceptable and you're not allowed to question it. You know, they're not my kids to raise and I'm not going to tell anybody to do it differently, but it scares me that those are the kinds of teachings that young people are learning. And my young people are learning that we love and accept everybody because that's the right thing to do. And I'll go to my grave knowing that in this situation, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm willing to listen and hear. I mean, the thing that I always say of it is if somebody has a problem with me, they are absolutely free to tell me. I will hear them out. Like I don't shut down conversations. I will listen to people's beliefs no matter how much they disagree with me. And I will continue to challenge them and debate with them and listen to them.
To a point. If it has to do with my sexuality, which is not something that I can change in 5 minutes.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, my sexuality is not up for debate. But if you...
It is for them.
If you truly have beliefs about how you think I'm such a bad influence on your children, like, do you not have the backbone or the decency to have a discussion about it?
No, they don't.
Instead, you're just going to be cowards forever and let me go on thinking that you actually do love me and you're just going to hide your kids away from me for the next 20 years.
I just want to know how that's a Christian value. Like, these are people who tout these Christian values, but like, you are just a liar. You're a liar. If you could say one thing to this family member right now, because they may watch this at some point. Honestly, I hope they do. And they can go.
I would say that the reason that I don't identify as a Christian anymore is because the Jesus that I learned to follow was one who preached radical love and radical acceptance. And the Christianity of this type is one of exclusivity and hatred and bigotry. So the question that I would ask is this the Christian values that you want to bring into the world? Because they're not the ones that I learned, and they're the ones responsible for hordes of people leaving the Christian church.
Literally, people are dying because of these Christian values. And I could never, in good conscience, be a part of something that is literally killing people.
When Allison and I decided to join social media, one of the things that was very important to me, because I spent a lot of my time growing up as a young gay person feeling completely alone and isolated and scared because I didn't know anybody like me. I didn't have any examples of people that were happily married like I wanted to be. And it was really, really important for us to show people that they are not alone. And so, I don't think we share this story to stir up drama or try to get anybody in trouble or make anybody look bad, but to honestly just share our experience of feeling the pain from people who are supposed to love you and be honest with you and stick up for you, and to tell all of you that if you are going through similar situations, you are not alone. You are loved and cared for by the people in your life who is your chosen family. Chosen family, you get to keep them. You get to keep the people who are good for you and positive in your life. And no matter who they are, you get to cut out the people that aren't. And so I'm sorry for anybody else who's had to go through similar situations. And I'm sorry for the complexity that it brings into your life with your relationships with your other family members. But you're not alone. We're going to continue to talk about hard subjects and controversial subjects because we are about authenticity and living truthful lives. And we're not going to hide things. We're not going to hide things from our kids. Our kids are going to know exactly why we can't hang out with these people because they're unsafe.
I think the biggest thing is it doesn't matter how famous you are, how popular you are on the internet. Nobody is immune from hate. And
we're real people with real feelings and real kids and lives. And we're just trying to
make it out.
Be happy and live our lives like everybody else.
And unfortunately, there are plenty of people out there who don't want that. And
who don't want that for others.
Who don't want that for others, yeah.
The others that are different from them. And it's sad.
It's sad, but honestly, I'm happy we found out so that we can now keep our kids safer because...
And live our lives accordingly.
We can. And with that, if you want to follow our story in other places, we're on TikTok for Thirsty on Main, where we do a series called Hey Babe, and we will be doing Hey Babes all month. And same with Instagram. You can see fun. That's where I post lots of fun pictures. And on Instagram, it's Allison Mertzman. And Leanne, do you want people to follow you or do you not care?
Happy Pride. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram.
What's your name on Instagram? Do you know?
Leanne Mertzman.
No.
And my name on TikTok is Leanne in LA, even though we don't live in Los Angeles. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride, friends. And we hope you have a lovely month with your chosen family and celebrating Pride. And even though apparently Pride is canceled, this is exactly the reason why Pride exists, because of things like Pride is canceled this year. And
yeah, you can't cancel us.
You can't cancel people. So
you can't cancel the entire queer community.
You can't. We are a strong, thriving community that have been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah. And we will continue to be around for as long as humans around. For as long as humans will be around, gay humans will be around.
And so will non-binary and transgender. We just are not going anywhere. So happy Pride. We love you.
Love is love.
Love is love. Ooh, that was pretty.